Impact Interview is sponsored by the Pocono Mountains, where small-town charm meets big adventures. Book your trip today by visiting PoconoMountains.com.
Well, welcome back to Nittany Game Week. Our Impact Interview guest is one of the all-time great running backs in Penn State history, and that is saying something because that is a lengthy list. We haven't had Blair Thomas on as a guest before, and I think the reason is because we're all scared he's going to take our jobs, because if he makes an appearance, he's a dynamic guy, and we're going to have so much fun that our viewers are going to be like, we want Blair every week, replace these other guys. So Blair, thanks so much. Tom, Jay, and I are really excited to talk to you today.
Yes, thanks for having me. And it's always good to be able to catch up with Jay and Tom anytime I get a chance to see those guys. So I look forward to the show.
Yeah, awesome. Well, look, one of the other things we look forward to is the Happy Valley Cruise. And this has happened a couple of years. It's a great fundraiser. It's for the Sue Paterno, Loretta Claiborne Endowment Fund now for Special Olympics. So it's a great cause behind it. So talk a little bit about what the Happy Valley Cruise is, your involvement with it, and why everybody should support this great cause.
Well, first and foremost, Sue is involved with it. So anytime, she's involved in something, you want to get behind her and support it as best you can. Uh, for the guests, you get a chance to meet so many dynamic players. Over the years, we had some great guests, participate in the Happy Valley Cruise, guys that played on undefeated teams, Super Bowl teams. Um, you name it, we have had, Penn Staters across the board that's been involved in and helped support the cause. And this year is going to be that much, more exciting because, this year is going to be on spring break for the kids. So hopefully we can get some more students involved and their parents involved if they can afford it. But it's just something that you get out, you get a chance to meet so many great people. The fans that participated get the chance to meet and talk to some of the former players. They get, close and intimate where you don't normally get that type of opportunity. So it's a good time for people to meet some of the guys they cheered on over the years.
So Blair, talking about guys that you cheered on over the years, when you first got to Penn State, you're behind an All-American in DJ Dozier. Tim Minot is on that squad. Steve Smith is on that squad. And then in the next couple of years, Gary Brown, Leroy Thompson, Richie Anderson, Sam Gash. You're talking 8 NFL running backs in that span of your career. How much did the intensity of that competition really drive you and everybody in that room?
Well, see, at that point in time, we had the different colored jerseys that designated which team you were on, whether it's first team, second team, third team. And the competition was so fierce because in any given day or practice, you could start off with one color jersey and end up with another color jersey. So the competition was always high. It was always at a level that you wanted to be in that environment because you had to push yourself to stay on top if you was on top. If not, you had to keep on fighting to get to that top position so you can get some playing time. So the competition was always very, very tight in those rooms because we wanted to recruit the best players and you got to compete against the best if you want to be the best. So it was an outstanding opportunity for me, and I'm glad that I had that competition to help make myself better, and I'm quite sure they'll say the same, that it made them better as well.
Hey, Blair, 7 times in your career you carried the ball 30 times in a game. And how did that get you going? I'm sure you liked it a lot better than splitting carries with somebody else. Did you feel it helped you get into the flow of the game?
Yes, it definitely helps you get into the flow of game because, everybody's all amped and hyped up at the beginning of the game. But once you get a chance to get to the flow of the game where your offensive linemen and those guys playing at the same speed that they're going to play at all game, now you can, gauge how you got to set things up. So getting those 20, 30 carries definitely for me allowed me to get a really feel for the speed of the tempo of the game that given day. But it also let me make sure that in my training, I wanted to make sure I was one of the best conditioned athletes on the field. So therefore, when everybody else was getting tired, I was hopefully starting to rise and starting to peak at that time.
Blair, in '86, you had 500 yards for that national championship team, 1,400 the next year in '87, then a knee injury you're dealing with in '88. The current Penn State squad is Katron Allen, Nick Singleton, and we've seen Trey Potts step up and help out when needed. What's that lesson there for running backs as far as being patient, not being necessarily a star right away, doing the things that are necessary in your career to just persevere?
Well, I always try to tell guys, at certain times you're going to peak and you're going to have what I call your birthday, where you're going to be called on and you start toting the rock and being getting more carries. Some guys have those birthdays early. Some guys have them later. But once you have that birthday, then you're primed and ready to go. And it's got to be that next man up type of mentality, because you don't know when someone's going to get hurt, but you have to train that you're going to play in every single game. And you got to have that mindset and focus and maturity to be able to sit back and wait your turn in some cases, because back when I played, wasn't many true freshmen. Our class had some guys that came in and played as true freshmen, but a lot of guys need that 1 or 2 years to get acclimated. And in some cases, I think I still could have benefited from that year, getting bigger, stronger, and faster. But it wound up working out for me that I had that opportunity to redshirt my senior year.
Speaking of birthdays, I know your birthday's this weekend, by the way. So happy birthday on
Yeah.
that.
Oh,
October
thank
babies are the best, as we all know.
you.
But
Yes.
while you were a great football player, without question, you're an even better magician specializing in hundreds of card tricks. How did you get started in that? And how are you so dang good at them?
Actually, growing up, it was a gentleman that used to come down around the neighborhood, and he was doing coin magic, and I was always, interested in magic. So I learned my first card trick when I was a freshman up at Penn State. We had that picnic out. I think it was about what's that?
Stone Valley?
One of those parks out there. We had a little picnic out there, and I learned my first card trick, and from that point on, I started reading books on, learn how to perfect some of them. And that's why when I'm doing magic tricks, the more that I shuffle, I start to remember some of the tricks, because that's how I used to also study my playbooks is while I was learning different cuts and different card tricks.
Hey, Blair, your career was impacted by your high school and your college coach. What did you learn from those two guys, and what can you tell us you took away from them?
Well, I tell you, I was very fortunate to have a outstanding high school coach and college coach. Of course, everyone know. Um, I started out doing gymnastics in seventh and eighth grade. My gymnastics coach told me I should look to go to high school for more competition for ninth grade, and I always wanted to play football. So I looked around the area we was allowed to go to different schools, other than the one in your neighborhood. So Al Angelo was one of the better coaches in the area. So I commuted for over an hour to get to high school every day for 4 years, just for the opportunity to get some good coaching. And it worked out that my sophomore year, we went up to Penn State and participated in the football camps up there, which gave me an opportunity to show, some of my talents. So I had the opportunity to play at Penn State.
Blair, you have a chance to be there at every home game. What takes you up there? What about that atmosphere, that you enjoy still, and obviously the excitement of having an undefeated team as they reach into October here of the season?
Well, I look at it in a light that our program has been through some things. I'm glad we're coming over the top of it. Um, but there's still some things that need to be taken care of. And these players were just like I was, a student athlete that only wanted the best experience. So I go up there to support all these teams. I've made it to several away games as well, but they deserve to understand that they got a lot of people supporting them, that's behind them, and that they're playing for. And our Penn State community is large, and we travel well, and we're always going to be there to support you.
Awesome. Well, Jay mentioned the magic tricks. I can certainly attest. You got some dance moves, and you're a heck of a pool volleyball player. Like a one-man show out there. You took care of the staff on the one boat for the Happy Valley Cruise. So I know it's going to be another great time. We really appreciate the time on the show, and I know we're all looking forward to that cruise in March.
Yes, I'm looking forward to. I think it's going to be outstanding. The buzz is starting to pick up, which I'm excited about, and I look forward to meeting as many new faces and seeing some of the old faces that we see year in and year out, the old reliables, and I love to, catch up and see what's new.
All right. Thanks, Blair. We look
Thanks.
forward to catching
Thanks,
up with you
Blair.
again real soon.
All right, thanks for having me, guys.